there are very few places where you can go to be seen. Known, yes. Seen. I'm going to be talking in this video about the difference between being known and being seen. And quick disclaimer, my apologies for the noise that you hear. There's a busy street that's right in front of me. It's a beautiful day. I was looking for a place to record outside, and I'm going to use this as a metaphor because just like sometimes for those who are creators, you're looking for a place to record, or you're looking for a place to get some privacy and you can't find that, or it's difficult to find that. Very similar in life. Often you are looking for a place, a soft place to land, a place to rest your thoughts, your hardships, your insecurities, whatever it may be, and you can't find that place. And this is going to be a vulnerable video. I don't anticipate it getting a lot of views. I'm not posting this to get a lot of views. This is actually part 1 of the Curated Legacy Podcast, and something I've been wanting to do for a while. And so there's a difference between being known and being seen. A lot of people know you. A lot of people know you. You're known by many, seen by few, if anyone. And when I wrote my book, I made a huge mistake by, some of the language I was putting out there was something to the effect of making Black women feel seen or something like that. The reason why that was a mistake is because I realized that is impossible for me to make Black women who I don't know feel seen. I can barely make myself feel seen. And in particular, I often feel most unseen by other Black women. Now, the reason why I'm posting this, because I was actually going to write this all down and I was getting overwhelmed by how much I would have to write. This is for creators. Now, if you're not a creator, that's fine. You're welcome to listen in. But you guys know I coach creators. Well, maybe you don't know, but I offer coaching and consulting to those who want to get started and grow on YouTube. And so what I would like to do now is share a certain part of my journey with regard to why I started my channel and why a lot of creators start channels. So I want to talk about, again, the difference between being known versus seen. The former being something that, when people say they know you, right? The complexity of that, because the reality is people know you. Perhaps you have friends from college, from high school, friends from your job, friends that you met through being a parent or whatever. They know you, but they know parts of you. They know the parts of you that you have shown them. They know the parts of you that you've talked about. And I realized something today, that none of my friends, no one who is close to me, I don't know if they've ever even seen me cry. I mean, I may have one friend who saw me cry at my grandmother's funeral, but just generally speaking, I don't think a lot of people who know me have seen me cry. Now, to explain something, I'm not a big crier, but I do cry through my art. I do cry, right? But it's just different. I don't cry as far as I cry tears too, but I think that the best way that I sort of release, so to speak, is through my art. And I consider my videos my art. I consider my books my art. And what I realize is that my art, what I consider art, has landed on others, in particular other Black women, as projection, as abuse, as being fake, as, because the complexity often is when you do YouTube, if you're monetized, you get paid for it. So another layer is, even though you can call something your art, and you can say that this is the way that I'm sort of releasing my emotions, when you attach money to it, when you attach payment, it makes it confusing with regard to, is that really what Naka is doing, or is she just trying to get paid? And, I compare this to like what singers and, actors must go through, singers who, or even rappers who might say the most vulnerable thing in a song, right? Or actor who's, through their role of playing a particular character, they often talk about how it helped them in their own personal life, right? So they're putting out their art into the world, something that they feel really good about, something that helped them, but then it lands on someone else negatively. Perhaps the song where they said something extremely, extremely vulnerable, they also said something else in the song that causes offense. Or maybe this role that they were so excited about that helped them to become a more confident person is also a role that is offensive to someone because, I don't know, maybe they were playing a drug addict or something that is a trigger for someone else. And so reason why I'm saying this is because as content creators, we have a very difficult role. And if you're not a creator, you won't, it will be, or if you're not an artist, I should say, because this is not just about content creators, this is about being an artist. Even if you're a writer, it's very challenging for us to be understood. And one of the things about my channel is that, it's the irony of everyone who comments, everyone who likes a video, everyone who hits me up on other platforms, sends me messages, or even if you just watch the video and you don't say anything, oftentimes, again, I recognize that some people hate watch as well, so they're just really watching with the intent of kind of disagreeing with you or just to kind of be nosy. But if you are genuinely watching and, genuinely engaging with my videos, even if you're sharing the video, that is a way that I feel seen as a thought leader, as a creator, as an artist, and it is hurtful when people who know you, because remember, I'm talking about the difference between being known and being seen. People who know you or who have known you for years struggle with seeing a part of you that is difficult for them to encounter. And to be clear, I'm sure I'm guilty of this. So in no way am I saying, oh, everybody else is doing this to me. And no, I think I also do this to others. It's probably subconscious, but the point is this. I want us to make, as creators, as artists, making this distinction that one of the reasons why we're on YouTube, one of the reasons why we started a channel in the first place is because there was a part of us that we felt like was not being seen and or acknowledged in real life. And we started these channels to engage and to sort of put out there this part of us that is difficult for most people to interact with. And the challenge is that part of us, whether it's one part, 2 or 3 parts of us, although we know that perhaps may have been something that we were hiding, or something that we, for whatever reason, we just didn't feel like people in our own personal lives cared about. So we started a channel to find others who care about it. that part is now exposed. So now anyone and everyone can interact or see or, be offended by that part of us. And and again, I don't know if I'm going to edit this video, so just bear with me through the pauses and me trying to think through this, because I didn't write anything down. But I guess my challenge is, my question is, where can I go, if anywhere, to be fully seen and known? And I'm not sure that place exists. The only place or time that I've ever experienced that recently would be with my husband, feeling as though, and seeing as though he saw me and he knows me, right? Those two things were in alignment. But in most parts of life, whether it be at work or with friends or, with whomever, my daughter's parents, or, I'm showing up in parts. And some of that is normal, but, it's just like, it's almost like the other day I was feeling like, oh, I just want to scream, I want to scream. And just like I gave this analogy about right now, I was looking for a place to film, and the best place that I could find was this place where I'm at now, and it's like a busy street, and it's really not the best place because you can hear the cars. But similar to that analogy, it's like looking around, looking left, looking right, looking up, looking down, and not being able to find anywhere or anyone who I can just be, outside of maybe my husband, who I feel like can just really see me, see all of me. And you don't have to agree with all of me or like all of me necessarily, but at least see it, be willing to see it, and perhaps maybe understand it, and, try to engage with it at best. But at worst, at least see it. And it's just kind of like when people ask, how are you doing? I get that question. People text, how are you doing? Hey, what are you up to? How are you doing? And I think all of us struggle with, well, do I really say how I'm doing? Or do I, because the truth is that most people don't really want to know the answer, or they want you to give them a simplified answer. They want you to give them an answer that's very comfortable, like, I'm fine, or I'll be better, or I'm okay. And the reality is that most people, if you actually said how you were doing, assuming you weren't doing that good in that moment, most people would not know what to do with that. They would, that would throw them off. It would, and in many ways, they might not even ask you again because they're like, well, I wasn't, expecting you to say all of that. It's too much. So again, somebody asking you, how are you? And you being able to say exactly how you are, and that person being willing to absorb that, or not maybe absorb it, but like really feel that's seen, right? Known, people knowing you is like kind of, and I don't want to, this is getting tricky what I'm saying, because to be clear, I have a lot of, if you are a friend of mine, if I call you a friend, you're a good friend, right? Because I don't use that term loosely. So to be clear, there's nothing that anyone is doing wrong. I'm talking about the human struggle, the human conditions. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that, like, I can put out, 150, videos that are either neutral or somewhat positive, but people focusing on the one or two videos that they were offended by, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this desire that we all have to not just be known, but to be seen. And this is why I started the brand, or the brand, I guess, if you will, of the invisible Black woman. This is why this sort of archetype is so important to me. You know, most people don't know me. Most people in my personal life don't know me as a thought leader. They know me as a single mom for so many years, now married. They know me. They know a lot about my struggles. They know a lot about perhaps my insecurities. They probably know what makes me happy or what I enjoy, but they don't know me as a thought leader. They don't know me as someone who tries to explain societal, things in society. They don't know me as being, I didn't even know this about myself, but apparently kind of loving sociology and loving, sort of thinking about topics and piecing, and synthesizing and doing this all around about Black women, right? This is what I do all that, but I relate it back to the Black community and Black women. And I'm very proud of what I've done on YouTube. And at the same time, I'm hurt and I'm sad that something I'm so proud of, for people who know me, for some people who know me, it is something that is deeply hurting to them. That actually hurts me. But at the same time, well, what do? Do I dismantle my channel? Do I become more invisible and completely stop doing everything? Or do we ignore? Do I and do they just ignore it and not bring it up? But that's why I'm kind of really talking about this, and this is why I wanted to make this video, is because I've been wanting to start a podcast to help creators to sort of work through some of this stuff. And again, I have a business, Curated Legacy LLC. You guys have been seeing the end. If you watch the end of my videos, if you make it to the end, you'll see my business logo. And again, this is episode 1. And so there's going to be, if you like this type of content, please do let me know in the comment section and also like it. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. I wanted to say that, most of us, again, are on YouTube because we recognize that there are parts of us that are not seen, that there are parts of us that people who know us are not even interested in seeing. It scares them. And again, they're not even really sure if that part is real, because it's like they never seen it, but it just came out of nowhere. I didn't know Nega felt like this. Why is she making these videos? Oh, she has these many views. Maybe she's doing it for the money. And what people don't know about me is that when I was in elementary school, I wrote in a journal that I wanted to be a producer. I wanted to be a writer, a poet, a producer, and an actor. I said actor, so I don't know about that. But so being able to curate stories and piece things together and add my analysis and be a thought leader, these are all things that I've wanted to do for so long. And again, for people who watch me, watch my channel, who get me, because you can watch me, but you can hate watch. For the people who really get me, thank you. It means a lot, because what that means is that you see a part of me that might be difficult for people that know me to see. And this does not discredit people who know me, because that is valid. It's important that people know me in real life. It's important that you have real relationships in real life. But don't discount and discredit what you have built online. Because what you need to know is that the relationships, or the way in which you engage with your audience, even if it's a small audience, you don't know who, you don't know the way that you are connecting with your audience, with your words, on a deep level, on a very deep level. And even though your audience doesn't know you, many of them see you. They may not know you. They don't know you in real life. If they really knew you, they may not even like you. But based on whatever that particular video is that you're putting out, based on, whatever it was you said, people can disagree, but we all know who our loyal followers are. I know I see in my comment section some of the same people who keep coming back. And that's why it's a little frustrating when I hear people talk about my comment section, because they, again, our brains are programmed to see the negative comments, and people actually look for the negative comments. But I know that there are folks who have very reasonable and realistic and helpful comments. And many of these people are part of my core audience. And just understand how valuable you are. Excuse me, to me and to any other creator that you're supporting. Know your value as a viewer. That every time you comment and you you're sending a message to the creator that I see you. I feel you on this. And again, and it doesn't discredit people who, don't feel us on, because again, I don't expect everybody to agree, but I can't act like it's not hurtful to know the truth of something that I hold so dear to me, which is my videos, landing negatively on people who say they know me, right? And to say a little bit about that is also about my evolution, because many of you know my story from a single mom, being a single mom for almost a decade, until I met and married my husband. But, I'm not the same person I used to be. And I often feel as though, I get, we all maybe feel as though we get kind of held in this box of this is who she was before. Well, she didn't talk like this before. I didn't know, she didn't have those thoughts. She never told me that. Well, of course I didn't, because maybe at that time I wasn't thinking that. I feel that way now. Getting married has transformed, and not only just getting married, but also meeting the kind of man that my husband has transformed my entire worldview. Because anyway, I'm not even, I was going to say, I'll say something even more personal, but I think I'm already being vulnerable enough here. But so again, recognizing that as creators, as artists ourselves, we're always evolving, we're changing, we're growing. And a lot of times the people who know us may not always be able to keep up, or they want to engage with the part of us that makes them comfortable, which is understandable. Again, I believe I'm also guilty of this, right? I don't put myself above anybody. But that is why YouTube channels are so important, is because I know that I am in a box in certain people's minds, because they're used to the NACA, that insert whatever problem, was struggling in this area or having issues with that, or, that is the person that a lot of people have become comfortable with. And now I'm a different person. And it doesn't mean I don't have challenges, but the way I deal with my challenges are different. And also the transition from struggling single mom to wife, I would say not struggling. I don't want to say not struggling wife, but wife who is evolving, I just want to, that nuance, right? And see, this is what people don't get, because our brains as humans will lock in on, oh, I can't believe Neka said this or said that, or this is what her content sounds like to me, not realizing that a lot of times what I'm doing in my videos is I'm capturing a moment in time. I'm capturing a moment in time. I'm capturing the space that I'm in. You guys don't even know you've been on a journey with me. And so I am constantly evolving as a person, and my videos are actually evolving. I again, for those who have followed me from day one, maybe you can see it, but it's subtle. And so a lot of my content is rooted in the space that I'm in, the things that I'm thinking about as an educator, right? As someone who's interested in a lot of these different ideas about what does it mean to be in your 40s and not married, no kids, and what does it mean to be an invisible woman, and what does it mean to really be confident in your body, right? What does this mean for Black women? And what I consider to be an intellectual thought process, for others it is abuse or negative or hurtful. And I don't have a solution to that, but I made this video because, like I said, I was filled with emotion around this. I felt like if I feel this way, there's probably other creators who feel this way. And again, there's a difference between being known and seen. And my goal, I want to be known. I want to be known. It's beautiful to be known. I want people to say, I know Neka. But more importantly, I want people to also say, I see Neka. I see her. I get her. And even if you don't agree, see that, and that's what people don't understand. It's not about, oh, I agree with everything Neka says, or I even agree with this. It's about, you can even be like, I disagree, but let me try to see why you did this or why you said that. And see, these are all the nuances that don't come out in a video, because it's like a video is a quick way to make a point. But I have over 300 videos on my channel. And so again, I'm always surprised by, another example would be, I have a book about being an invisible woman, and this entire, book, and the ability that someone could fixate on like 2 or 3 words, and then the outcome is, well, because those 2 or 3 words are not what maybe the person wanted to hear, I should throw the whole book out, right? That's another struggle that I had. So I'm trying to be respectful, but I'm also trying to share some of the challenges that I have, because I think a lot of times people see my videos and you see the views, and people don't know what's behind that. They don't know the process of creating, of being able to go from being what I consider dang near invisible to having a visible brand online. And I think it's important that I start sharing. That's the whole point of this podcast, is to share some of the behind the scenes thought process with the hope of helping other creators. And the last thing I want to say, this is getting long, but again, this is a podcast, so it's going to be a little longer than my regular videos. But the last thing I'll say here is Angie Stone, who we just lost, right? And this is just an example. I always think about, anytime I hear someone's song being played on the radio over and over, I'm like, dang, did they die? And it could be that this happened before with Lauryn Hill one time, where they were just playing a lot of Lauryn Hill songs on like all the stations. And immediately I was like, is she gone? Just because I was like, why are they playing her song so much? And, so, one of the things, I'm a Angie Stone fan, and you guys will, I'm going to be making like a YouTube short in her honor to some extent. But one of the things I think about is like, if you know an artist, to give them their flowers while they're here, because there's nothing more sad to me than, okay, like after Angie Stone passed, now the radio stations want to play her songs over and over. Now people want to talk about, oh, she's so amazing, but one of her last videos was about the challenges that she was having in the music industry. And I'm sure she felt like her music was perhaps blackballed, or, you know, whatever the word is. So I say all this to say, you know, my hope, because I often think about the way in which my content has landed on Black women, on some Black women, and although I have appreciated any honesty that has been given to me, but my hope is that it's not going to be when I die that people then go back and watch my video and say, oh, let me try to understand what she was saying. Let me try to listen to this whole video, right? Because a lot of times people get upset after having only heard 2 minutes. But my hope is that, you know, people are not engaging with my art because I died and now trying to understand me. Oh, let me see. And I, you know, and this is not me saying anything like deletion based, but this is just me saying in general, you know, like at some point, we don't know when we're going to go. Angie Stone didn't know she was going to die in a car accident. That happened. And so now you have this resurgence of her YouTube videos and her music, and people are playing her. So I'm making that point about me. I don't know when my time is going to be. And my hope is that whenever that time comes, some of the same people who were offended by my art don't then go back to my art and try to like get me, because I'm gone. You know, you didn't get me when I was here. So yeah, this is like a creator's rant. So it's a creator's rant. So that concludes episode 1 of the Curated Legacy Podcast. Stay tuned for more. Comment, like, share. Hopefully I help someone with sharing this part of my life. And I don't think I'm going to say the usual things I say at the end of, I mean, you could purchase my book. You guys know, purchase my book on Amazon, Memoir of an Invisible Black Woman. I have a YouTube membership that you can join. My website, if you're interested in coaching and consulting, please do go to my website and check out my services. You can also put your email at the bottom of the page on my website so you can subscribe, because I will be doing a newsletter. We'll be putting that out soon. Follow me on Instagram. And as always, stay tuned for more podcast episodes.